Our next section is safe sleep. Safe sleep is ABC. If you know your ABCs, then you know safe sleep. A is alone, B is on their backs, and C is in their crib. If you can do that, then you're following safe sleep. Never let your child sleep with you or their brothers or sisters. They need to sleep alone. It is recommended that they actually sleep in the same room as you in a bassinet. They want to make sure though that they're in the same room, but that you can't touch your baby. Just the weight of your hand on your baby's chest or belly while they're sleeping can actually cause them to stop breathing. So they need to be in the room, but not so close that you can actually put your hand on them. Some things that we can do to help with preventing SIDS is, again, alone on their backs and in their cribs. They need to be in the same room as you. Babies that are offered a pacifier at night are less likely to die from SIDS. Babies that are breastfed are less likely to die from SIDS because they're up every 2 hours eating and they never get into that good deep sleep. There's one thing that everybody can do that automatically reduces the risk of SIDS by 50%, and that's getting your baby their immunizations. If they get their shots on schedule, you've reduced their risk of SIDS by 50%.
So your babies are going to spend a lot of time in their bed, and it can be one of the safest places or the most dangerous. So we want to take a look at that for just a second and see what kind of great things you can get given in a baby shower, but that you might want to try and exchange and not use at all with your baby. So let's take a look at this bed and see how we could fix it very easily for safe sleep and make this baby much, much safer. So what do you think we should remove? I'm going to get rid of the stuffed animals first because this guy can carry a lot of germs and he can be exactly what the baby gets up against and suffocates with. So we'll put him away. What else? I am automatically going to get rid of extra blankets and pillows. Think of these as suffocation hazards. I'm going to get rid of those. We don't need a poor fitting sheet at all. We don't need anything with strings. Even if those were tied, your baby can get right there and suffocate right there. Breathe in their own air. Parents always used to say they just sleep better on their belly, and they do. Until they have the neck muscles to roll over on their own, they are going to sleep better and possibly too well in that corner where they're not getting enough air, fresh air. So no wedges. We know that a lot of times reflux issues, doctors may order this for you, but we highly recommend putting it up under the crib so that it raises the whole thing, because we want the sheet to fit very, very well. Definitely going to remove pillows. And I'm going to get rid of this sheet that was made for a twin bed. It wasn't made for a crib. So, sweet thing. Down here. Okay. And then, of course, I would swaddle her up. Much, much safer.
Positioning your baby for safe sleep is always on their backs. We do not recommend side sleeping because babies that sleep on their sides can easily roll over onto their bellies. We don't recommend babies that sleep on their bellies because they do get into a deeper sleep, and the concern is that if they do stop breathing, that their brain will not wake them up and tell them, hey, you need to take a breath, so they'll just stop breathing. Now, you may have some grandparents that say, you slept on your belly and you're fine. And that was probably true back then, but they didn't know that there is an actual medical reason why we don't do this now. You actually have two tubes in the back of your throat. You have your trachea and you have your esophagus. Your trachea is actually in the front and your esophagus is behind it. So most grandparents are concerned that if their baby or their grandbaby spits up, that they'll get choked. So if you look at the picture, you'll see that if your baby starts to spit up, it's liquid. So as it goes down, if they're on their backs, it's not going to jump up and go into the trachea. more than likely it's going to go straight down into the esophagus and go into their bellies. Now we've rolled our baby on their belly, and let's say they spit up now. Now if you look at it, your trachea is still in the front and your esophagus is behind. So now if they swallow, it's going to be liquid again. It's going to go straight with gravity down into the trachea and can go to their lungs. And this is when we see aspiration or aspiration pneumonia. So there is a physical reason why we also recommend babies sleep on their backs.